Another live video. Just decided I'd come and do live as opposed to a video. I'm hanging out in my kitchen today. I hope you guys don't mind. Hang out with me for a little while. Not so much because it's Christmas, but because I knew and I'm aware that there are a lot of us empaths that are choosing differently. We don't want to be amongst groups that we've been involved with in times past, not because we're better than them, because we're not. That's because we see things differently. We're still healing. We love our alone time. Although at first we thought this was punishment. And some of us self-isolated ourselves because we were so wounded and abused. But when you come to a point in your life where you relish being alone, you really find out that being alone, you're not truly alone, especially when you got a faith in God. Actually, your faith in God is activated to a higher degree, at least for me. Stripped away the church, stripped away excess baggage by way of people, friend circles, just people who I associated with and would run into in passing. It's kind of like I almost avoid the very people I now know who are demonic, negative, low vibrational force in my life. And I don't do it in a malicious way. Because in a big way, the narcissist has avoided you, especially since you awaken. They observe us from a distance. They're always spying on us. They're always stalking us. The energy they put into stalking us, if walls could talk, they're using a lot more energy now trying to keep tabs on us than they did when they love bombed us. Because now we are aware and they got to actually work for the kill. So I'm wondering what you guys are doing on a day like this. So if you want to chime in, feel free to. Um, I'm just hanging out. I don't have my kids today. They would have normally wished me Merry Christmas and that kind of stuff, and they know where I'm at with that. Hey, Angel, I don't knock anybody who celebrates Christmas, by the way, but I just have a lot to say about it. Just because, when I would just say evolve, and I don't want that to sound like I'm up here and people like myself are up here and people who haven't come to this awareness are not. It's just, this is what it is for me. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. That's what I always say. You ever wonder why you let your child go to see Santa and sit on Santa's lap, and at the same time you tell your children growing up, beware of strangers, don't, hey, Amar, Aman, how you doing? Hope you guys having a safe, uneventful day. Whether you're celebrating this day or not, I just hope you have peace and serenity wherever you guys are. But you let your child sit on this total stranger's lap, and you tell your children growing up, don't, talk to strangers, don't take candy from strangers. It's anything but that now in 2024. People are allowing their kids. I'm from down south, but I live in upstate New York. We are letting our children go with total strangers today more than ever. Or a lot of us are. We're allowing uh, parents of our child's friend pick our child up and bring them to and from sporting events and different functions within the school, having never met that parent. And this is all this facilitates an easy life for us. And so we must not negate other people to be responsible for our obligations in watching our children, protecting our children. But that thing about sitting on Santa's lap, man. And when your kid goes there and you try to go to let them sit on Santa's lap, and they're kind of you're kind of nudging them to go. because they're next up and the child is just petrified. But you forced your child to go sit on Santa's lap. I just think looking back, that was weird at the time, and it was probably had to be unnerving for your child and traumatizing in the same time. And some of the children would be kicking and screaming, and you get this parent who just purposely puts this this innocent child on this total stranger's lap. And what it does is this facilitates this mind manipulation. And how you doing, lonely gamer? Thank you for showing up, man. Hope you guys having a good day. So I wanted to just talk about, when you start like basically chilling and going into hibernation, monk mode, lonely, isolation, making these narcissists wonder. Same to you, Sam. You make these people wonder two things: why you aren't interested in the way you used to be, and you make them wonder what you're up to. Why are they're wondering why is that person? They're actually thinking you may be with another supply, and not knowing what you're up to is very nerve wracking for a narcissist, because in times past they kept tabs on you unbeknownst to you. You didn't know they had trackers on your car. You didn't know they were tracking your phone. You didn't know that they had their friend, their flying monkeys, keeping up with you at the job, workplace, or whatever. They had intel like you wouldn't believe. Now you've given nobody any kind of idea. Hey, Maxim, you've given nobody any intel on where you are, what your plans were leading up to, say, Christmas or the New Year's. They have no idea how you're going to bring the New Year's in. It's almost like you've fallen off the earth. But in the narcissist's warped mind, they actually think they've defeated you until they see you again in Walmart or something. You looking good, you glowing up. You can see the confused look in their face. It's like, how the hell? That's what God can do for you. Hey, Ram. Man, I got some. Let me put some better glasses on, guy. I don't want to say you guys' name wrong. Ram G. What's up? I see them hands. Handshakes, hands, waving hands. How you guys doing, man? The feeling I'm getting just having a normal, organic conversations with total strangers about something that is not a total strange subject to us. How many other topics that you know in the world that massive amounts of people can come together and talk about, and it never be a debate? There may be some debates in the live streams of this topic. I'm yet to see them, and if they are, they're not that prevalent. This is one of few of any live streams platforms on the subject of narcissists. This is the fewest. What am I trying to say? I haven't seen a channel live like what we talk about. There is no disparaging. There is no insulting. I've seen comments in certain other people, content creators' videos that have been slightly controversial, because coming out of this, a lot of people are hard pressed. Let's say, to talk about God, get into spiritual matters, religious matters. That sometimes make people get this knee jerk reaction to it, because what happens, the trauma probably comes all back to surface, because a lot of religion and stuff was forced on us as children. And a lot of these narcissists, if you get a narcissist that is religious, they will rule the house like a dictator, worse than Hitler. They will incorporate corporal discipline and justify it with scripture. A lot of these parents who are so religious that are no worldly good, they will beat their children to no end. They will starve them for food. among other things they starve you for. And they continue to justify it, and they'll use religion and the Bible and different things to perpetuate their agenda. So, other than that, you don't hear any deep disparaging or controversial conflicts when we're talking about this subject. But you find that very unique and ironic. You'll never hear you'll never hear another subject that has such an organic camaraderie, and that's nothing short of divine. And I believe, biblically speaking, God is going to bring those things back into correction that were crooked. Like he said in the word, what God straightens, no man can crook. What God crooks, no man can straighten. And so it's happening. It's happening for you who do believe that God is in control, and you all that don't. I pray that you just kind of give your heart to him a little bit more than you have, and see what he does in your life. If he doesn't do anything physical as far as your eye can see, hopefully he'll give you that peace that surpasses all understanding, because that's truly what you really need right now. It's not your bills to be paid, although everyone wants their bills to be paid, especially if you're a responsible human being. You want to be in good health. You want to your children to do well. Excuse me, and different things. But the peace that you really should desire will allow all those other things to take uh, the back seat, and you'll be able to figure out a lot of times how to take care of them things. But put God in perspective and just make him the rule in your life, not the exception. Don't continue to use God like an ATM machine, just going to him to withdraw spiritual cash when you're down and out. And when you get your bag up, you have no use for God. Matter of fact, I would encourage you, in your lowest state, get rooted and grounded in God and meditate and listen to his voice. Get by yourself and truly listen to his voice. And when I say voice, that is him tapping into your heart. He is giving you a spiritual vision of where he wants to direct you in some kind of supernatural way, because you can't actually explain this to people. You can say, well, God showed me, God spoke to me. And most people who don't understand the infinite wisdom and the insight of God in his omniscience would think. And in the human's framework, you can really not even come close. But as spiritual beings who are tapping in, you're able to get very close to and connected with where he wants you to go. So that's what you mean when you say, I'm speaking to God. God spoke to me. He laid on my heart. But take that with a grain of salt, because everybody who speaks that lingo, they're not really connected to God. They just know the verbiage. But to point, you'll be able to connect with God, and he'll be able to just speak to your heart, comfort you, confirm, give you confirmation of where he wants you to go. And see, apart from this, you can't do anything, like he says. And when you begin to see directions and you're able to figure out solutions to problems, just not impulsive or knee-jerk resolutions or solutions, you have no choice but to look to supernatural intervention, which comes from God. So it almost forces you to take note of this and say, man, I've never seen this happen in my life. I've never had this revelation. This has never happened for me. These ideas came out of my head, but I know that I can't take responsibility for them. And this is all supernatural stuff that begins to happen once you begin to focus on God and where he wants to take you. And see, that narcissists, they distracted us a lot, man. They kept us uh, our attention diverted on some things that they saw that we probably like in the world, as far as tangible, superficial things, to which liking something and just being infatuated with things such as cars, clothes, blah, 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 watches, jewelry, you know, to a fault is where the problem is. But, to be able to dress nice and have nice things in this world. You're supposed to appreciate the fruits of labor in this world. But they don't supposed to take hold of your life. They don't take precedence in your life because they come and go. God still remains. So that is getting long-winded in that respect. But I wanted this to talk about just like being isolated and being in your own space. You're able to now see that the things that most people are concerned about, you care nothing about them. Not in a mean way. This is resting time. This is testing time. You know that this time that you have in the huddle with God, you're going to need it going forth, and you're just capitalizing on every moment to yourself you have. Because we sometimes reminisce about how we slipped, how the narcissist got the ups on us, because we were not in isolation figuring out our problem. We went out and about, and we thought being out, clearing our head, going to the bar, going to the club, going out impulsively shopping, because we needed to be out amongst people, we thought. That's amazing. Even in pandemic, you notice that eating joints, restaurants, all of these things were necessities, or they were called essential. So the restaurants were deemed essential. So in many ways, people were eating out more than ever in very restricted, confined spaces, but yet they were still eating out. And now that the country has pretty much opened back up, it's not normal. Whatever normal is, it's nothing like it was before the pandemic. Um, that's just what people do more than not. They use going out to eat or going through the drive-through. It's a way of life now. Even with inflation, we complain about, stuff is expensive, grocery, everything. But if you go to any McDonald's or any fast food drive-through, you'll see the line backed up to the road, 10 or 20 cars, and people waiting in line for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And they're not upset about it. Nobody's rushing anyone. They're on their phone waiting, smoking a joint. We're not going back to pre-pandemic status of the world, notwithstanding inflation or not. This fast pace we're in this economy, in this society, is going to get ever more fast paced. People need things in a microsecond. And you and I, empaths, we find our resting place in less, because less is best for us. The narcissist moved faster than we actually were moving in our life, mentally, physically, socially. You get with a narcissist, they want to take you everywhere. They want to show you off like the new pet. They'll do that for a hot week or two. Then when things settle in, you find yourself going any and everywhere without them. They have all the excuses in the world to not partake in things that mean the most to you. But they meant everything to them when you met them. They cared about everything you cared about. And how that switches, it leaves empath, chosen one, perplexed. But you're so busy because they actually sped up your priorities that you already had, and you had them pretty much managed when you met them. But when they came into your life, you kind of negated some of you did negate some of your energy to them. Hey, yellow. And you also negated a lot of responsibilities to them because you trusted them. They asked, pretty much, because what they do, they take some of the responsibilities that you are well able to deal with by yourself. But you didn't want to be selfish. You felt like, okay, you can do this. And what they do, they let you down when you least expect it. Say a big day, big campaign, big meeting, and you need them to write something up. You need them to do something for you that is very vital to this thing going over well. They're unreachable. They fall ill. They'll even blatantly tell you they have something else to do, and you'll kind of kindly ask, what is it? Maybe something I can help you with, so we can still maintain this schedule of getting this thing done I need. And they'll give you a very petty adolescent excuse, like they got to go get their nails done or their hair. Not that that's not important, personal hygiene and personal self-care, but it will basically, they'll make it seems like it trumps anything that you have of importance to do. And you won't hear a bit of remorse or disappointment or empathy of, oh man, I'm sorry I can't do this because I have to do that. You won't hear that, because that's what they've done. They've set you up just to let you down. So back to the point initially when I came in here on the live, guys. Today amongst all days is a day where, or today, along with many other days, be holidays. A lot of people are using a very, very excessive amount of energy, because it takes a lot of energy to cater to a group of people, to entertain, uh, to interact. It takes a lot of physical energy, mental energy out of you. So a lot of people today, they'll be exhausted, intoxicated, inebriated, all the other aideds. And tomorrow, they'll be back to business. It's kind of like putting on costumes and taking them off. Because empath, the narcissist trains us how to get in and out of character, get in and out of costume. And we find ourselves going to all the shindigs and the functioning. They're dressing us in all different kind of arrays of outfits, metaphorically speaking. We're putting on faces. We're doing this. We're doing that. And it's out of our element. We're not even wired that way. I love being sober 28 years. And I'm not going to say I knock people who drink, but I don't have not one good thing to say about alcohol. Give me one good thing alcohol has done for our world. I'll wait. Used to watch the Western movies when they would pour it into a rattlesnake bite or a gunshot wound. Wonder if that still works. But do what you do until you don't do it no more. That's all I can say. Yeah, they will load you up with all of these obligations and responsibilities, and you'll share and negate some responsibilities to them, hoping and believing that they are going to have the same mindset that you have in winning, but they're betting against you. Their bet is against you. They train you in a fight, but they have the odds against you. Because in the way they train you to become codependent on them. Anybody got something you want to talk about? As I always yak. I want to listen to what you guys want to talk about. Anybody got something that's going on in their life that they are just happy about, that they couldn't be happy about last year this time? And I'm sure Narcissist Free is one of them. Go ahead, Yellow, ask your question. If I can answer it, I will. Eating these disgusting oatmeal sandwiches. I grew up eating this stuff. And I know it's bad for me, but I'm going to cook some food in a minute. I'm not going to say I have a poor appetite, but eat very moderately. I really feed my mind more than anything, and that might sound a little cliche, but or even dogmatic. Physical nourishment is very important, but don't just eat just to be eating. I think I'm 30 and I got a house and a 32-hour job. I kind of feel like I have done everything I wanted to do. Now I seek purpose and a plan for the next 40 years. Wow, you got a 40-year plan? Never heard that before. So you plan on living a long life. I see that. 32-hour job, which is a little bit shy of full time. That'd be part time. What is your question though? I don't see any more. Anything else you wrote? I'm trying to stroll, but I don't think anything else. Um, is that your thinking? You say you feel like you've done everything you wanted to do. Have you reaped good benefits from, say you got a house and a 32-hour job? Well, have enough, your house paid for? I don't know. I'll wait for your question so I can kind of get an idea what you're asking. Oh, okay. I do understand you're asking a question, but you kind of need some clarity because you're at a point where, like you just said, uh, you don't have any kids. So, how was your life when you were 30? Wow, you don't even, do you want to know? Well, I was an alcoholic, full blown functional alcoholic till I got to the point where I was so functional. Ended up, I had actually at 30 years old, I had already acquired 3 years within the Florida State Penitentiary. I was 3 years in. I got out when I was 31, coming up to my 32nd birthday. So I spent 5 years in prison, and before that, I spent in and out of county jail. I would say I spent a vast majority of my 20s, all of my 20s, drinking, and consequently at meeting my first wife at 23, 24. Married to her for 10 years, divorced and well, married in, I don't know when we married, but 10 years. So I was married at 24, I believe. Then I had my son in 97, married in 94. My wife is 7 years, 7 months older than me. Now I have two children that are 27, 28 by that same first wife, ex-wife now, but and I was in prison for 5 years. She stuck with me the whole time, but I've told that story before. She stuck with me just to wait until I got out. I think just to harbor over my failure or to see me fail again. But God had a different plan. Haven't drank since 97, since being 27 years old. Haven't had a urge to drink. Fully delivered, man. I say that word in church. But back to you. How was your life at 30? And what did you plan to do? Well, wasn't no plan, but I did what was coincided with the life I was living. What I would say to you at 54 though, Yellow, now that I really truly I can pretty much throw something out there, not that I'm an advice type person or advisor. I guess we're all giving advice. But through the lens of what I've seen, I think you're in a beautiful place. The main thing I want to say to you, don't rush because you believe you need to do what you see everybody else is doing. Don't feel like, when I say don't rush, don't feel like time is approaching, whereas you're going to be in your mid 30s and early 40s, and you want to rush and get a kid, which is a filler to fulfill. And having children, I think, does bring a certain amount of fulfilling to you. If you're to a point where at 30 you have a house, I don't even own my own house. I've owned homes with wives that they had when I met them. My first wife, that's the story. She acquired, she signed and finalized the home we bought together in my hiatus when I was in the county jail. In one of these instances, this was post prison, and it was a whole setup to kick me to the curb, but that story lingers. So that was the only house that I think would have been considered me having a home. But the second wife and third wife I had, they had places of their own that I would like to say that I didn't buy, or we didn't buy together. I was close to buying a house when I worked at the job that I talked about that I got fired from 2.5 years ago, making $100 a year. I've owned a personal business for a long, long time, which deals with landscaping and excavating. I've had tons of money, many times, and opportunities to have acquired a home as opposed to renting, but it's always something that caused it to slip through the cracks. You would have to just continue to look towards life in a way where being optimistic about what's the next chapter. I know life is boring. This is a news flash. Life is boring. Anyway, if you're looking at this world that we're living in, nothing appeals to me for the most part. I love life. I'm not ready to pull the plug on my life or anything. I don't want to sound like just life has no meaning. Life, as we look at it outside of ourselves, is pretty boring. The delight we find is basically what I just said. We delight in our alone time. We delight in being connected to spiritual matters. We delight in being able to help other people and elevate other people in a beautiful way, in a real way, not for cap, not for glam, not for any recognition. We organically love helping and being a part of something good in this world. So I would suggest 30 years old, you didn't say whether you own, you may also, you have a mortgage, okay, I'm guessing. Get into content creating. Just like you're here listening to me. Fine, don't just jump on there and just do anything, because you may give it up before you begin. Whatever you do in your off time, something that you truly, truly, genuinely like to do. There's got to be one thing in this world that you love to do. Everybody has that one thing. They just haven't figured it out yet. Once that one thing hits you, try to be content creator. If it's nothing but cooking cupcakes in your kitchen, or knitting, or being self-help, letting people know, or even talking about where you're at in your life now, going forward. Highlight your life as it is, and let's take people along for the ride. That might be a good thing just right there. Yeah, I know we're all looking for the one thing. That might be a movement in and of itself, Yellow. If you, I don't know, but it's just like a lot of people don't want to be content creators because they could talk about something in a certain capacity, but when they have to be devoted to that thing, whereas concerns content creator, and have to continue to give people what they somewhat demand, and you don't have the supply, which is you. Some or on any given day, you may not feel like going on to do what you've vested in to begin with, and it loses its appeal. Just like me talking on YouTube, I could do 10 videos a day, and at some point, I think God is pushing me in that direction. Not because I want to do 10 videos, it's just because there are so many things that I've been enlightened about that genuinely I believe the world needs to hear. But again, I'm pacing myself. I want to be able to finish what I started in life. I don't want to be hit and miss, to which I'm known for that because that addictive behavior, starting a lot of projects and not finishing. My home in which I live now, there's corners. I don't know if you see it in this kitchen. Uh, the whole complete kitchen has been painted, but just a touch up because I do that in reverse sometimes. Sometimes I don't do the cutting at first. I paint the wall and then I cut in last. And I have to point out, me, first of all, you can see that's been years like that. And being a single man, I could use that as an excuse, but it's just, the ups and downs, the hurdles of going through life and interacting and engaging with things, people, and places that didn't really serve me well. They distracted me and threw my focus off. So this isolation time, introspecting, elevating, and educating, and just raising my vibration, empaths and chosen ones alike, this awakening from narcissistic personality disorder abuse, you're going to have a newfound appreciation for life. Even if you don't know what you want to do, you're still going to appreciate that because you're not going to have people such as a narcissist coming in and invading your thought process, pushing you out of a mindset into something they're fake supporting you in and suggesting you should do. Because we are very, very servant. We have a lot of servitude. We're very subservient to a lot of people we value and people's who opinions we value. At least we were in times past. But we are very, very selective in the advice that we take going forward. Because we've been advised about something that we had no clue existed in this world. And so now we move accordingly. But I can't wait to see what you end up deciding on, Yellow. I really don't know what else to tell you besides that. Just to don't rush. You have a house. You don't have children. You have a dog. Do you have a pet? I'm not suggesting you get one. I'm just asking. Because most people with a status like that would sometimes have, oh, you got a cat, haha. Are you don't mind me asking, male, female? I'm getting that you may be a female. Well, you said single. I know that part. But I kind of, yep, male. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You telling me you're a male with a cat, that speaks to me in a way that I'm just going to be, from one bro to another one. A man who has a cat, who's single, has a house, as opposed to a dog, it always strikes me like this particular type of man is a very, very decent, gentle human being. Not to say that women who have, or men that have dogs are not gentle men either. But a man with a cat, it just speaks very, very deeply to me that I think that is a gentle, mild, considerate. It just speaks a lot of good things. Because a man, we're always on the assumption, man, dog, whether it's a female dog or a male dog, we automatically assume a man who's going to get a pet is going to get a dog. But you have a cat, Also have a cat and a dog here, or it was here, till my daughter and my son kidnapped it. Cat and dog hasn't been here in like a month. So, I'm dealing with narcissistic energies from outside of myself and also that are grooming. They're in a grooming process. But you know what? Awakened as I am, 4 years behind a lot of the mumbo jumbo stuff, I've allowed God finally to do what only God can do better. And He gonna shake the tree, and all the unhealthy fruit are gonna fall. And I trust that. I think a cat matches my lifestyle solo. Mine is own business. That's funny. So I bet your cat pretty much chill too. If you don't go and pet her or it don't pet you, they come around. Cats are like the cat I have, Mia, is a female. She's pretty predictable, but sometimes as she's getting older, she don't want no part of me. I find myself picking her up when all she wanted to do is just chill and stand off and observe, and just being in the space of her owner. And that's what a beautiful relationship is. I think you got everything you need right now, man. You got everything you need. And being that you're in this live, I'm guessing that you watch Until Narcissist, and you probably, I would assume, have been a victim of this atrocious disorder. So, yeah, I always told my kids, man, when you're boring, you're being selfish. And I guess when you're single, it's all about self. You don't have anyone else to be responsible for, so you ain't totally wrong for being that way. So I don't know. Think about some philanthropy type stuff. You can volunteer and do some gold digger. Nah, you don't need that, bro. Trust me. That's probably what you have. If you've been with a narcissist, you've already had that. You've been there, done that. If you watch gold diggers on YouTube, a lot of these females are so narcissistic. Some of them are so narcissistic. That the biggest thing that speaks to me with gold diggers, entitlement. And they lead with their looks and their bodies, and a lot of them are broke down and they're so superficial. And people want to believe that all of that is skits, more than a skit. Some of them may be, pre-recorded and whatnot. But the bigger point is, this holds true in life. What we've gone through with these individuals is not a script. They were playing a script, but we were just not. We didn't know that it was a script. We were actually playing our roles in authenticity, and they were reading from a prompt. That's why when we figured it out, we readily understood that it was all mimicry. Those who us who came to terms with it. Sometimes it's just hard for some of us to come to terms where when we got deceived, and just accepting that that's what it was. Some of us who have kids by the narcissist have a house, looking back at the things that they did to contribute to our life, downplaying what they contributed to destroying our life, because we're so busy looking at the things that remain. Oh, if the narcissist, well, if he was a narcissist, he would have took everything. He gave me the house. He let me keep the kids. No, they erase the paper or ball the paper of that life with you and throw it away. They basically are ready to take the high road, leaving you to believe you got the upper hand. You got a W. But no, they left you with all the responsibilities, having you believe that they let you keep the house. They didn't go to court to sell the house from under you. So you're attached to these things, and those things, I guess, help in consoling you in some way. So you end up taking that consolation prize, and you dumb down the fact that they are a narcissist. So you start co-parenting with them, thereby giving that narcissist that left you and the kids with the house, you giving them access to come back and forth still in that house. Oh, we best as friends. We co-parent. You know how many times I hear women tell me that? Oh, we co-parent. We get along fine. Not knowing that this narcissist is coming in and out as he may, back and forth, with no responsibilities. He's still living the lifestyle as he did when you caught him cheating and infidelity. So now you basically just endorsed his narcissism to say, okay, I accept you no damn good, but come as you may. And this can go for women who accept, I mean, men who accept women to come and go and sexual favors. She says, "You want me to come over?" She doesn't ask if she can come over. Call you, the narcissist female, and say, "Oh, I'll come over if you want me to." So they still have you an illusion that they're doing you a favor by coming over and sleeping with you, thereby transferring and continuing to keep that ill, disgusting spirit and low vibration in you by soul tie. So don't need a gold digger for sure. Definitely don't need a gold digger. Man, I've been here 46 minutes, guys. I not been looking at the clock because again, it just was a live. I wanted to come on. I haven't been on a live in a minute. I don't really have a script. I never edit my videos. I just talk, and I want to be real as I can be. I think the best I've done, I've started a video over like within seconds of an intro, stumbling over words, but a lot of my videos I kind of stumble over words. And this is some stuff that most of us care less about, although being able to present information in a good fashion is, taking pride in that, yeah. But at the same time, we don't want to be perfect. Hey, Merry Christmas to you, Yellow. Hope I didn't bore you too much, man. But listen, you keep doing what you're doing and don't let that boredom, which is what I was saying. I used to tell my kids, and I would have smirked. I said, when you bored, you're being selfish. You go outside of you and not recklessly or impulsively do the first thing that pops in your head, but find something that is your core, in the core of you, that you can do to alleviate that boredom that involves assisting someone else. Nursing home. Take a part-time volunteer position at a nursing home. That's it. That's what I would do, Yellow. May not be your forte, but if it sparks an interest to you that I just suggested, do tap back in with me anytime, either on the YouTube channel Mochismo Eugene or on another live. I don't know if you guys can subscribe and like the live, and that way the notifications, I think, lets you know when I come on and when I'm doing this. Otherwise, I don't give I don't put the promos or whatever that thing is you put in there to say upcoming video or live. So do subscribe and share the videos or the lives with people that you think could benefit from it, because a lot of people, when we wake up, we want to tell people about this, but often people don't want to hear it directly from us. It doesn't jive, it doesn't connect because they've known us all their life. They're used to the algorithms of how we speak. We may bore them, they may lose interest because it's so familiar to them. So when you share the video with someone uh, that you care about, that you really do think need to know about this, and they hear it from someone else's voice, someone else's persona, someone else's perspective, and it's not someone that they're familiar with, sometimes they connect and they get really, really engaged. So that's just a thought. So yeah, nursing home volunteer. Go there and apply for a volunteer position. And I mean, you may not have to empty, you know, pans, night pans, call them pee pans or whatever. You might not have to change diapers or anything like that. There are positions where you could just go in and sit and talk with them. There are positions where you can work front desk. There are positions where you can do custodial work within that capacity. It's unlike working custodial work, let's say in a factory or a school. It's more personal. It's more individual. And a lot of times you clean rooms, there may be an elderly person in that room. You may just do it when they are moving out in preparation for them to move a new resident in. I don't know why I suggested nursing home, but that struck me and I felt like I could share it with you. Have a very uneventful, peaceful Christmas Day. Okay. So I've had probably four, maybe six tops on the live. Nonetheless, I still don't mind. Just the one or two people that are uh, is enough. Just a little more shy than talking to myself, which I do a lot too. So the rest of my day is going to involve pretty much the same as it is now. I'll go and I'll watch some YouTube. Not content creators in this capacity because I decompress with this stuff. I have a normal life. I watch pretty much content creators or who are building. I've discussed before, if anyone that doesn't know me a certain way, that I am in, those things I connect with: house building, landscaping, excavating, welding, car building, all constructive things. Movies and stuff like that, I lose my attention to those. I do watch a lot of things where I believe now narcissists are. I listen to a lot of I don't want to say gruesome, but very hardcore discoveries by way of what one human being has done to another. Not the CSI, different things like that. It wouldn't be even 48, the first 48. It'd be something along those lines, but it would be people who have done very atrocious things by way to another person that is not talked about in a big way in the mainstream sector. And for me, those things keep me very, very in tune to how evil our world is, thereby allowing me to stay rooted in humility, to become the best I can be, to be a benefit to this world more than a liability. And for me, that's just, the basic 101 of just how I grow and how I wake up wanting to be a human being in this world and not just, someone's taking up space. And it brings good character out of me too, because I could be very well those people who I'm looking at had I not been able to be submissive under the watchful hand of God. See, when you allow space to be just rented in your head and you're not doing background checks, spiritually speaking, you're just allowing any kind of spirit to come into you, you end up with a lot of tenants or entities that you can't soon get rid of. So what you feed your mind is very important. What you feed your mind with is very important, because what goes in must come out. And we pretty much should just denounce all evil type of, and I know that sort of sounds contradictory because the gruesome, grim stuff that I'm looking at, but for different reasons. I mean, gory movies, I don't really see any benefit from those. I don't need to see them. I see gory things happening in our society. So that's my point. Gravitate towards things that are going to stimulate you being a plus in this world rather than a negative. So I guess everyone's eating their turkey, chicken, having their holiday with family. They may not be tapped into a live right now because how are you going to do a live sitting in amongst your family who are not tapped into this kind of stuff? They're like, "What you looking at?" And you could put your earbuds in and just sit here and just listen to this kind of stuff while at the same time sitting amongst these type of entities, because this will help talk you out of what, or convince you of what you're talking your intuition out of. You may be dealing with a family member that's very toxic and you just cannot put a finger on what's making these people do what they do. Put those earbuds in, watch this live, watch content creators talking about this. If you need to have something assist you into determining and making coming to a verdict of, it's the last damn birthday party, last damn Christmas party. It's the last invite that I'm going to accept because now I know what I'm dealing with. These people got me sick over here. I thought I was going to come over and have a good time. Now I'm sick to my stomach and I don't know why. Now I know. People such as this, they get inside of your spirit in more ways than one. Sometimes they can do it from a distance. It's all about the negative that they need to bring about a functional life for them. Without it, that's why you'll find a lot of especially awakened. They can consume so much pep talk, good pep talk, till they begin to tune it out because they resist it, because the inferiority complex kicks in and it pushes them away from this informative content, because right now they're in a stage where they're associating this person pushing them less than they want to go. It sort of sounds familiar to much like what the narcissist did to you, although our intentions are totally different. The narcissist would tell you, shape up, in ways that you thought they were giving you a much needed pep talk. But when they say shape up, they mean shape up or I'm going to ship you out. They don't give you that part though. Sometimes they'll give you an ultimatum. You need to get in therapy. I'm leaving. Oh, I'll get in therapy for your reverse verbal abuse to me tomorrow. Matter of fact, no, it's Christmas. I'll still call and I'll get an appointment. I'll just leave a message and I'll be in the first class session tomorrow. That's what their projection does. It has you questioning whether you need help or not. And what they don't know, I'll close with this. Narcissist doesn't know when they're truly forcing you and pushing you, talking about you crazy, you need help, you need therapy. You're really introspecting yourself and you're taking a lot of this responsibility upon yourself, a lot more than you even are responsible for. And what they're not banking on and they're unawares of is God is listening to you. He sees your heart is truly open to change. Not to change the narcissist want for you, to change to make peace again. And what the narcissist does by pushing you so hard, they push you to a point where the change that is happening in you is not the change that they order. Be careful what you ask for narcissist. The change came in the form of an awakening. You got your therapy. You got at home therapy. You got home therapy care, home health care. Fidelis don't offer that. None other than the hand of God. He intervened and he snapped you out of it. And when you got some get right, you reverse everything to which the narcissists hadn't planned that. They turned the screws up a little bit too high on the Frankenstein. And the mud came back into their face. Got the boomerang effect. So just be mindful that, guys, this is just one day out of many days. But if you're in isolation in meditation today, even if you're by yourself, man, you were more alone with the narcissist than you are now. And where you are is where you're supposed to be. Just remember that, guys. That being said, bless.